Hello, my name is Dan Skipbound, and this is my review of The Big Sick, starring Kunail Ninjiani as Kunail and Zoe Kazan as Emily, also starring Holly Hunter and Ray Romano. This is about a Pakistani American who's a Uber driver, and nighttime he's a stand-up comedian. You might know the name Kunail Ninjiani because he's in a TV show on HBO called Silicon Valley. Zoe Kazan, she's been in a few, 3 or 4 little indies very similar to this, little romantic comedies. So we follow Kunail, and he's a stand-up comedian, and Emily, played by Zoe, just happens to show up in his in the comedy club that he's doing stand-up in, and she comments on his stand-up, and of course this leads to them talking afterwards and having kind of what you would call a little bit of a romance, a fly-by-night kind of romance. They're kind of into each other, but they kind of have a little bit of a standoff with the relationship with each other. Sometimes they want to meet. They have this, Kunail has this little thing he called the 24-hour rule. You're allowed to have a couple dates, then you can't see each other for a while or whatever. And so he's got this whole kind of shtick going on with Zoe, and she's busy. So they kind of play games with each other a little bit in here. What happens, though, is there's an accident about an hour into the film, half hour, 45 minutes into the film, I guess you would call it. And Zoe's character of Emily gets sick, and she ends up in the hospital, and Kunail has to make a decision what to do because he's the only one there. And so he ends up telling the doctors to put her in a coma, a self-induced coma where they can work on her, and she's not going to die, but she's in a coma, so they can find out what's wrong with her. So then we enter Ray Romano and Holly Hunter into the film, and they're the parents of Emily. And we, with this back and forth kind of relationship that Emily and Kunail had, they were kind of on the outs with each other when this happened. And when he got the call, he had to come down to the hospital and make this life or death decision. So Kunail, being a Pakistani American, these types of people, these people from India, Pakistan, this part of the country, they have what's called a arranged marriage. And so we have these scenes where he goes back to his parents' house and he has dinner, and they have these women to show up. And there's some comedy that goes along with this. One scene involving him being a fan of the X-Files, which is pretty funny. But then he doesn't really say anything to his parents about this kind of off again, on again relationship with Emily. But Ray Romano and Holly Hunter, they do know about the relationship, and then they weren't necessarily happy because they think that Kunail dumped Emily. But so we have these kind of two groups of parents, and they both have a different opinion of Kunail and what he's going through. Kunail's keeping secrets from his parents, while Emily's parents know basically everything about him. So he's kind of at this juxtaposition in the film. But a lot of this stuff lends itself to some comedy, especially the stuff in the stand-up part of the film. He's getting relationship advice from his friends who are stand-up comedians, or his roommate, or some of these types of people. And Kunail's kind of in the middle of this situation, which is pretty tough for him because he realizes how much he cares about Emily, but he also knows what he did to her. And Ray Romano and Holly Hunter add quite a bit to the levity of the film, even though we're dealing with a woman that's in a coma. And I mean, this is a funny film. Very few things in the field don't make me laugh. I mean, I really laughed a lot with The Big Sick. And this is a movie about someone that's sick, and relationships, and some hard-hitting kinds of things. But they really play it for comedy, a lot of it. And this is what I've been talking about for months and months now, maybe even years, where we don't have good romantic comedies. And this is one of the best ones I've seen in a long, long time. I'm not familiar with this Kunail Ninjiani because I'm not a fan of Silicon Valley. But I have seen Zoe Kazan, and she has been in a few other romantic comedies. What If with Daniel Radcliffe is one of them. And I really enjoy her when I get to see her. But the combination of the four main actors, Holly Hunter, Ray Romano, Zoe Kazan, and Kunail Ninjiani, really made this a fun movie. And it's produced by Judd Apatow. So, you know, he knows this kind of realm, this comedy realm, the stand-up realm, this kind of, and it's based on a real life, Kunail Ninjiani's real life. We don't know how much is based on his life or how much. They have some photos at the end of the movie showing the real Emily and so forth. So this does have a sense in reality. You know, of course, movies, they do a little bit of changing things around to make them a little bit more better for the plot and the script and so forth. But I was looking forward to this coming out of Sundance. I heard such rave reviews from this film coming out of the Sundance Film Festival. And then when I finally saw it, I was blown away. And I'll tell you what, it's one of my favorite films of the year. I absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to seeing Kunail Ninjiani in something else. And I'm glad to see people like Holly Hunter, Ray Romano, and people like that in more films, because we just don't get to see him. And I would love to see Zoe Kazan in more, but we just don't see her that often as well. I give The Big Sick a big see it. And this is Skip for the Best Damn Movie Show. Good day.